Oh boy. Time to get yelled at by Augustin again. You guys all ready? But, on the bright side, KYLER will come and comfort us, because we're friends now, and that's what friends do for each other, right? Yeah. Okay. I stared at the wet screen, one hand swishing the drenched tray while the other held the water hose. Dirt and debris vanished through the holes, leaving the larger objects for examining. Nothing stood out at first. A few bone fragments I overlooked. I casually dropped them into the plastic cup and returned to my search. I picked up a rock with a cream tinge to it, admiring the color before I noticed smooth grooves on one side. Any curiosity I had plunged to the pit of my stomach when I realized what it was. Oh no. I found a flint in my tomassage. Calm down, Melissa. It's not like you're the first person to do this, or the last. It happened to Joan recently, and another student did the same thing. Still, it sucks. I turned it over and raised an eyebrow when I noticed lattice cracks on one side. It looked as if it had shattered inwardly.
Did you find something particularly interesting in your tomassage, little flower?
I nearly dropped the specimen and tottered on the concrete block. Oh, Augustin. Yeah. I guess I did. Before I could plop it back onto the tray, Augustin extended his hand. I reluctantly surrendered the flint, dreading his reaction. Not this again. Anything but this again. Why do you have to have such a scary face all the time, Augustin?
Do you have any idea what you have found?
Flint. His hand squeezed the stone briefly before displaying it, one finger tracing the fractures.
Burnt flint, Melissa.
He stole a glance at my cup, which had its layer, 3DRG, clearly marked with a black marker.
And we had yet to find one in this layer. Now one has turned up with lost context in the tomassage.
Disappointment flickered on his face, and I turned off the faucet, anticipating a lecture. At least I was able to pinpoint which layer it came from?
Yes, but we will never know how it was positioned. We have already gone over why it's important to record the context of every find. Do I have to repeat myself a second time?
No, I took your words to heart, promise. I was being more careful and everything. Is there something significant about burnt flint? Gosh, I was at square one again with my amateur questions. No matter how much I learned, it felt like it was never enough.
If flint is heated up to 450 degrees Celsius, its previous irradiation is erased. We can then date it to the last time it was used in a hearth or fire. However, it is heavily contaminated at this point, and being able to accurately date it will be nigh impossible.
Well, we know the layer's age, so we could safely guess.
Melissa, do you even understand the gravity of this find? The layer's age does not always equal the age of the object. Without its position recorded, we have no idea how it ended up in the layer. I'm severely disappointed in you. We assigned your square since Sherry students have always performed outstandingly, and I thought you would be no exception.
There was a shuffle as Shoji entered the room from outside. He must have sensed the tense atmosphere since he timidly walked past us. We exchanged glances and he seemed unsure of what to do. He stalled, but Augustin picked up on it. He barked something in French and Shoji flinched. Like a puppy being dragged into the night rain, Shoji unwillingly exited the room. After he disappeared, Augustin tapped the metal rim of the screening platform to catch my attention. The lecture continued for a good 15 minutes, and I felt horrible for anyone who wanted to wet screen or merely pass through. Finally, it reached a merciful conclusion.
Here, I'm returning this to you.
You sure you don't want it?
No, it is part of the wet screening finds now. It would have been crucial if it was found in its original position.
He laughed and I guiltily dropped the flint into the cup, feeling it was too profound to be mixed with bone shards. It would have been better if I'd overlooked it and accidentally tossed it away. I chewed my lip bitterly as I tried to focus on the wet screen, but my concentration was broken. Sometimes my vision blurred from the pressure behind my eyes. Defeated, I managed to give the wet screening one more look before I turned the tray over and dumped the rest of the debris into the pit below. People walked out of the cave, and a simple glance at the clock indicated that it was noon. Maybe some lunch would calm me down. Sighing, I tore at the Swiss cheese absent-mindedly, my fingers fumbling as I tried to contain my feelings. It was a battle, though. All my mistakes finally caught up to me, and my confidence melted like cheese in hot soup.
Mel,
Yeah?
are you okay? You seem out of it.
Just tired. Why do you ask?
Because you're missing your soup.
Huh? I glanced down and realized I had a mountain of cheese fragments piled up beside my bowl. Whether it was the waste of food, or the transparency of my emotions, my eyes watered again, threatening to spill out. Blinking, I held back a hiccuping sob and stood, nearly tripping over the bench in my haste. Mentally apologizing to the poor soul who had to clean up my mess, I retreated to my tent. Moments later, I curled up on the air mattress, my head buried against my knees. Warm tears rolled down my cheeks, and I occasionally wiped my face against my pants. I'm a failure of an archaeologist. I couldn't even distinguish flint from rubble. This was a mistake after all. I can't do this. I want to go home. Sherry must regret bringing me over. I heard footsteps approach the tent area, and I struggled to keep my crying to a minimum. My tent was closed, save for a small slit to allow some fresh air in. I quieted down, not wanting to disturb the person who was probably grabbing a phone or some other possession. However, the steps halted in front of my tent, and I glanced up curiously, spotting a dark outline through the fabric.
Are you in there, Melissa?
Yes, yes, he's here! What's he gonna do? Probably gonna yell at us, isn't he? My eyes widened when I recognized KYLER's calm voice. Yeah, I'm here. Did you need something?
DeAndre said you left without a word and that you looked upset. Is there something bothering you? Perhaps I could be of assistance.
KYLER came to check on me? Didn't expect that at all. Except... I crawled over to the flap and unzipped it to give KYLER access before scooting back. KYLER gingerly entered the tent and sat cross-legged on the air mattress. He was slender, but his height made it cramped in the one-person shelter. Eyeing my curled-up position, his expression softened.
Did something happen?
Yes, got lectured by Augustin today, and I feel awful about it.
What was it about?
Although KYLER was direct, there was no accusation in his voice. I found burnt flint in the wet screen.
Oh.
What's worse, after Augustin saw it, I had to listen to him for 20 minutes telling me how disappointed he was. And that's not the first mistake I've made either. I forgot to draw on the grid map, and bones kept falling apart in the lab at the beginning. I thought I got better when Augustin quizzed me about my square, but... The tears returned and my voice cracked as I continued. Now I'm second-guessing myself. I'm starting to feel I stumbled in the wrong direction career-wise. I can't seem to get anything right. I feel like I wasted my time, Sherry's time, your time, and the expenses my parents covered to even get me here. Realizing who I was talking to, I jerked my head up and hastily rubbed my eyes. Ugh, you must find me so pathetic right now. You helped me so many times, but I still messed up. You probably think I didn't take your advice to heart. KYLER rubbed the back of his head.
What kind of person do you think I am? I'm not looking down on you, nor do I think you're pathetic. Besides, crying because you're upset isn't shameful. There are even health benefits to it.
Ah, you wonderful Vulcan.
Huh?
This is so Spock of him. It's mwah.
Crying washes out the stressful hormones in your body, helps release tension, and your tears are antibacterial. It also keeps your eyes moist and removes toxins, It's sort of like a cleansing.
Are you trying to cheer me up with science?
Sorry, I'm not used to these types of situations, and I wanted to convey that,
Aww. Oh, you're so sweet.
what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to let it out, and I'm here for you.
That entire roundabout explanation led to those simple words? His hand disappeared behind his back as he pulled out something from his pocket. He presented a few folded napkins, the same ones we used at the table. Smiling weakly, I accepted them. Thanks, KYLER. You could have just said so in the first place before launching into your science facts.
Like I said, I'm not used to these situations.
I wiped my eyes and unceremoniously blew my nose. KYLER politely looked away while I cleaned my face.
Don't let what DuPont said discourage you. I know what it's like to be scolded by him too.
You've experienced it too? I thought you never messed up.
Seriously, what kind of image do you have of me? Anyway, the answer is yes. I experienced it on my first day, when I had never done any archaeology prior. It wasn't my fault, but there I was, being lectured in the cave in front of everybody for a good 20 minutes. After that, I vowed not to do anything that would repeat it.
Wow, you still liked archaeology after that? It probably would have ruined my impression of excavating here.
It was a little like that at first. I did resent signing up for the elective. It was Sherry who changed my opinion about archaeology, and here I am. But I digress. Of course I shift the focus away from you when it's you who's feeling down.
He sighed dispiritedly, convinced he was a burden instead of any help. No, you're relating. It's good. No, I found this encouraging. It shows I shouldn't give up because I've been feeling incapable. The lecture hurt, but I can only improve from here, right? At least I hope I'll improve. It seems whenever I master something, I make mistakes somewhere else.
It's an ongoing process. You never stop picking up new insights or techniques. It's not much, but I do excavate beside you, and I can help you. I know you've been trying to rely on me less, but I honestly don't find your inquiries bothersome anymore.
Anymore? He blushed then coughed awkwardly and I laughed. Thanks, KYLER.
Feel better?
Yeah, it really was like a cleansing.
I'm glad.
KYLER approached the exit, then paused mid-crawl, turning around like he forgot to grab his car keys. Oh. Reaching out, he gave me a feeble pat on the shoulder with his fingertips before withdrawing. I hear human contact is good in these situations. Pat, pat. The physical attempt to cheer me up was rather weak, but KYLER wasn't a touchy-feely person. Yeah. Thanks. I'll see you later, KYLER, when I'm more presentable. He departed, leaving me alone with my thoughts again. However, I didn't feel as depressed as I did before he visited. I was still a little sore over the whole Tom massage incident, but it was too early for me to give up and declare archaeology the wrong path for me. I wonder what KYLER got mistakenly lectured for. Yeah, I wonder about that too. Will that be answered later? And how come he still has such a deep respect for DuPont now? But very, very low tolerance for Hendrik. Very interesting. Morning already. Thanks to KYLER, I felt better today. You can do it, Mel. Just treat it like a fresh start. If I quit after every hiccup, I wouldn't even be in dance competitions. This is no different. Yeah. We got this. Look at that. Even though our music is tied. Almost at 100 diligence. Oh, cute. I alternated between emailing my parents and checking adorable bunny videos on my laptop. The shift had finished and people were dispersed around the museum as usual. Hendrik and DeAndre piled the trays to return to the storage closet for another day. While they did, I could hear them chit-chatting in French. I logged off and stretched one arm. I casually twirled the chair around to face the others. DeAndre noticed while Hendrik disappeared down the hall momentarily.
All up to date?
Yeah, fired off a quick response to my folks. They appreciate all of the pictures, but Dad's disappointed I haven't dug up a dinosaur yet.
I think that's a completely different field.
Oh, DeAndre. Jai-Kel-Ka. Sorry. I was going to mention, before I forget again, that we received drawings and thank you letters from the elementary school.
Aw, really? How sweet of them.
Very. They wrote down their favorite events during the whole tour. Can you guess what got mentioned the most? Here.
Grabbing a stack of papers, Hendrik spread them out like a deck of cards and tapped one of the drawings. DeAndre and I rifled through them, while Hendrik translated some of the sentences. One paper caught my eye. It showed a crude humanoid shape with fangs, outstretched arms, and yellow lines all over the face.
Oh, come on, I'm not that hairy. Got the goatee all wrong, too.
Despite the complaints, DeAndre chuckled and stroked his chin. I don't know. I think this is a pretty accurate Neanderthal. DeAndre rolled his eyes. Hendrik gave a tiny shrug.
I wish I was the one who came up with that.
While they chatted, one picture caught my eye. Aw, someone even drew KYLER? At least, I think this is KYLER. I tapped the drawing with the green and purple stick figure.
Ah, yes. KYLER seemed to have enjoyed himself, and he helped the kids a great deal.
KYLER's actually a decent guy when he doesn't act like there's a stalactite stuck up his arse.
DeAndre, language.
Oh, sorry, stalagmite. Since stalagmites rise from the floor, they'd make more sense than a stalactite.
DeAndre chuckled at his own display of knowledge, and Hendrik let it slide as he collected the papers.
Anyway, thanks for helping me, DeAndre.
Later, Hendrik, Mel.
DeAndre left, and Hendrik returned the class letters to the corner of the table. Noticing me lingering, Hendrik glanced up.
Need something?
Oh, I was wondering where KYLER was since we mentioned him. He's usually upstairs reading or in his tent, but I haven't seen him.
I think he's still in the cave.
What? But isn't it all locked up and stuff?
At this time, yes. However, Augustin made an exception. KYLER's currently scouting the cave's interior, since we plan to put up some displays for visitors during the festival next week.
Festival?
An open event that anyone can join. There'll be more details next Monday, since we'll be needing everyone's help on this one.
Sounds fun. You're giving KYLER more responsibilities lately. Or has he done this before?
Well, since he helped during the tour, he's proved himself capable outside of the excavation and lab activities. I thought it wouldn't hurt.
I'm glad things are sorted out between you two.
Same here. Not sure why this year is different from the previous ones, but I'm grateful we're on friendlier terms.
Let's hope it stays like that. Anyway, I'll see you around.
Later, Melissa.
I closed the lab door, wondering if I should visit KYLER, when I noticed something. On the whitest spot of the floor, there was a long sheet of white construction paper spread out. Was someone drawing? Oh, sorry, Shoji. I gotta go visit my boo. I was curious about the whole scouting and display thing. Maybe KYLER could elaborate on it. As expected, the cave's main lights were still on when I entered. Without anyone around and the heat lamps turned off, it was cold and remote. KYLER?
Melissa.
Huh? The voice came from my immediate right, across the huge gap. KYLER stood near the edge, in a place I didn't even know was accessible since there were no paths or walkways nearby. How did you get over there? He gestured toward the cave wall behind him, and I noticed a small gap behind one of the columns.
Through this way. You have to climb over one of the squares and loop around.
I had no idea. I want to see. I quickened my step, interested in exploring more of the cave. KYLER vanished through the tight passage, and I saw him emerge not far from the spot where Shoji worked. I scurried to the 3-foot wall, placing my hands carefully on the surface. I prepared to hoist myself up, but KYLER already leaned down and extended an arm.
Here.
Touched, I accepted his hand and positioned one foot on a sturdy rock. After a nod, KYLER yanked me upward, then let go once I regained my balance. Thanks.
No problem. It would have been troublesome if you disturbed the sediments by scrambling over them.
Of course. Figures. Oh, Melissa, you didn't buy that crap, did you? I followed him, mindful of the uneven path as he backtracked to where I originally found him. What are you doing exactly? We arrived at the edge. It felt surreal to see the main catwalk from this position.
Determining ideal locations to place the cutouts. They're all depictions of animals dug up here to help give visitors an idea of what Korean would have been like over 30,000 years ago. We even got a Neanderthal family to display. I'm wondering how to lay everything out, and if the angles will work from the visitor's standpoint. Actually, a second person would be helpful. Your visit was providential.
Yay? I'd be glad to lend a hand. What do you need me to do?
Can you return to the entrance? I'm going to position myself where the cutouts will be, and you let me know how visible I am.
But I want to wander around and check out the places they've never been to yet.
This isn't a playground to frolic around in.
We exchanged stubborn glares until his face softened and he let out a weak chuckle.
If you help me, I'll show you around. We can't explore the whole cave, but we can take that side catwalk I know you've never been to.
I admit I've always wondered about that and where it led, but I never see anyone taking that path. Satisfied with the arrangement, I passed KYLER, then nimbly darted through the column maze. I guess that was one advantage to being short, and she finally admits it. We spent the next 20 minutes moving around and exchanging, "That's good," or "A little more to the left." No, your other left. When we finished, KYLER led me down the catwalk like he promised. However, we didn't go far. All of the lights on the lower level were off, and KYLER advised me not to advance farther. I settled on leaning over the railing and looking downward, while KYLER hesitantly joined me.
How did you know I was here anyway? Did Hendrik tell you?
Yeah, I asked, and now here I am. Thought I'd drop by and say hi. It seems the two of you have reconciled?
There was nothing to really reconcile. I clung so firmly to my first impression of him that I refused to really get to know him, since I thought I was right. Or maybe I avoided it because, deep down, I was worried I had the wrong idea about him.
Oh. Oh. Whoa! Sorry, KYLER. Man, those sneezes came out of nowhere. I'm like, what's happening? Sorry about that. Back to the backstory.
Instead of seeing him as a rival, I should have treated him like a teammate. Now I'm learning even more because I'm open to his suggestions. It was a petty grudge.
It's never too late to bury the hatchet and move on. How does it feel?
Like a giant weight was lifted off my shoulders. Nursing resentment is exhausting, but I had no idea how much until I decided to let it go. It's something I need to work on. I didn't mean to subject you to my rambling.
Don't worry about it. It was a big step for you, right? Sometimes it's good to just talk things out, get your thoughts and feelings sorted openly.
Is that why you tend to blurt things out?
I prefer the term communicative. KYLER gazed down at the abyss.
In a way, I have DeAndre to thank.
DeAndre?
Originally, I thought he was here to goof off and fool around, since a lot of people use this as an opportunity to do exactly that. However, he is trying to pass. He also helped me whenever I got stuck with cooking duties, even if he got frustrated at first. I admit I wasn't making it easy for him. I guess that helped me reconsider my situation with Hendrik.
Even DeAndre has a mature side to him. We both thought you were rather unfriendly at first, too.
If you thought that, why did you bother to talk to me?
Well, when I was stuck, you were the only one nearby, but I learned you weren't so bad once I got to know you. I'm glad we're square mates.
Same here. Thanks for listening to me.
It's no problem. If you ever want to chat or talk things out, my square is next to yours.
Let's go back. We dawdled long enough.
Okay, we won't get too mushy too quickly, I guess. Augustin, why does this vertebra look so pitted?
Looks like silly cave bear got eaten by smart hyena or lion. Those are bite marks, attacking the anterior thoracic vertebral column.
And...
Lower spine, petite fleur.
I squealed in my seat as a brush poked my back.
If that is from layer 82GR, I believe we already have 3 bones from that same animal.
Must be tough piecing it all together.
We have collections going back to 80s. We are still fitting pieces found decades apart.
Did people always know about this cave? How was it found?
You aware of a popular movie with an archaeologist who carries whip?
Oh yes.
Because of that movie, many kids were inspired and explored region, pretending to find treasure. Silly kids stumbled on cave here.
Who knew an inaccurate portrayal of archaeology would lead to a real archaeological discovery?
We still get an occasional student who is disappointed this cave is not a booby-trapped temple. I would lose all my help if that was the case.
Maybe it is, and we just haven't dug the traps up yet.
If so, you will be the first to find out.
He laughed, then excused himself, and I glanced at the chewed bone. Maybe I should dig on a higher level instead. Might be safer there. Ow! We're doing so well. Huh. If you can just succeed at one of these dances, girl, be great. Yeah! Woo! Good job! Look at you, girl! Okay. Let's see. You are in the cave. We do not need to internet. Now we could study. Cave, yes. Volunteer, yes. Cave, yes. I don't need to volunteer. Could probably do a study. Cave, yep. Volunteer, yep. I think, yes, he is in the lab. We want to volunteer. And do a couple of studies. Oh, look at all these hearts. He's still awkward. I don't know if it'll change anymore, but alright, let's start. Woo! Oh! Ah! Ah! He's studying with us! I can't believe it! That's so cute! Ah! When did this happen? What happened? What changed? Is it because we're so diligent now? Ah! I can't! I'm so excited! Ugh. Sorry, fangirling. It's just so cute.
And this was done entirely in colored pencil? You're really skilled at this.
Hendrik looked over the finished cutout laid on the table. Shoji had recently put the finishing touches on it and declared it complete.
Thank you. I kept it on the minimalistic site, but it should work for tomorrow.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Hey, since you're great at artsy stuff, would you be up for overseeing the face painting station tomorrow?
Face painting?
Or would it be too different from what you're used to?
No, I've used paints before.
Shoji flashed me a save me expression and I stepped in. It's something to think about at least, Shoji. I don't think she's expecting an answer right away. Rosemarie faltered slightly, and I knew she was the type who liked snap decisions. However, she turned to Hendrik, who nodded respectfully.
It's no problem. The chores won't be officially assigned until tomorrow morning anyway.
Hendrik thanked Shoji once again, and the two of us went outside.
Should I, or...
The face painting? I think you can do it.
Think so?
It's all one-on-one, and I'm sure it'll mostly be kids wanting a flower or a butterfly on their cheek. Just ask the question like, who their favorite superhero is, and they'll go on while you focus on the face painting.
I see. Like, what's your favorite market?
Oh, I love the cake-shaped one. I keep forgetting its real name because I always call it bun... I stopped when I realized it wasn't a real question, and he laughed.
Since you put it that way, I'll definitely consider it.
Before we could discuss it further, his cell phone rang. I grinned, recognizing the video game theme. Muttering a quick apology, Shoji walked a few paces away, then pulled out his phone. He glanced at the phone display quizzically and hit the receive button.
Hello? Oui, c'est Shoji. Quoi? Ma mère est à l'hospital?
I froze at the word hospital, and Shoji's voice lowered to a frightened whisper. I knew it was impolite to eavesdrop, but I didn't want to leave with upsetting news being delivered. I worriedly took a step forward, waiting until Shoji hung up. When the call ended, Shoji turned around, looking pallid. Shoji, what was that about? You mentioned the hospital.
Huh.
He was struggling to ease his nerves and remain calm.
One of the employees found my mom unconscious at the bottom of the stairs. He called an ambulance right away and isn't sure how severe it is, but...
We don't know the details. Let's get you to the hospital first. When does the train arrive? Shoji frantically punched numbers into his phone.
I'll have to take a taxi.
This town was tiny, and I doubted a taxi would arrive quickly. Wait, let's see if we can get someone to drive you.
But...
Something going on?
DeAndre glanced at Shoji, concern reflected on his face. KYLER was not far behind. Shoji's mother's in the hospital.
What? Is she okay?
Although DeAndre's consideration was genuine, Shoji had a hard time coping with the crowd and struggled to speak. KYLER pulled on DeAndre's arm.
Oh, instead of snapping at him.
He needs space.
KYLER finished the sentence in French, and DeAndre glared momentarily before nodding in understanding.
We'll inform Hendrik and Dupont.
He trembled violently, and I had no idea what to say to help calm him down.
It's my fault. I shouldn't have returned here. It's because I'm not tending to the store that...
It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. I heard someone approaching and turned to see Hendrik, who was already holding a set of keys.
I heard what happened. Shoji, do you want me to drive you to the hospital?
It's all the way in Liege. I can't impose.
This is a family emergency, and a taxi or train will take too long. Don't think of this as a burden. It's important to be with family.
Hendrik, thank you.
You can thank me once I drop you off. Let's go.
Hang in there. I'm sure she's all right.
I hope so too.
Once Hendrik's truck pulled out of the driveway, KYLER and DeAndre approached me.
What happened exactly?
I summarized what little I knew, and the two exchanged solemn looks.
Bummer. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Depends on the fall. If she was unconscious, a concussion will be likely. I've seen enough of those. It might be bad then.
I don't want to think of worst-case scenarios already.
Melissa's right. It's too early to speculate when we don't have enough information. Yeah, at least we'll be able to know what's going on thanks to Hendrik. Do any of us have Shoji's number? I have Shoji's email. I'll message him tonight.
Sounds good. Please let me know if he responds. It wasn't until dinner time that Hendrik returned. I rushed over to him and he gave me a reassuring smile. Is everything okay?
I just dropped Shoji off at the hospital. I gave him my number in case he needs me to pick him up.
Yeah, it's understandable. Thanks, Hendrik, for jumping in like that.
I couldn't let him wait around for the train or a taxi. It was the least I could do. Now go eat. It won't do anyone any good if you don't take care of yourself as well.
Dinner was a blur, although I explained the situation to Chantel and Joan when they asked about Shoji's absence. When it was over, I passed the time playing a video game in my tent.
Melissa, are you in there?
I'm here. I hastily opened the flap and eagerly looked up at KYLER. Is his mom okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She hurt her heel badly and has a minor concussion, but she'll make a full recovery. Shoji will return late, but he'll be here for the festival.
Not staying the night or anything?
I think he wanted to, but his mom can be persuasive from what it sounds like. It's his first time being away from home this long, so she feels it's good for him.
Sounds like those two are complete opposites. Thanks for telling me. I'm glad it wasn't serious. He nodded. After he departed, I sank back into my bed, glad my worries were put to rest.